Hey guys, my name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton Sehon. I hope you are all well today. We have a lot to talk about, and I'm just so thankful that I got the opportunity to be with you guys today. There's been a little bit of a technical thing going on, so please forgive me for being a little bit late here today. Just trying to get in your group was interesting, and just like camera stuff and all kinds of stuff. Let's see. You can go live. Let's see. I hope I'm in the right group. Anthea, I think I'm in here. Hey, Annie. Give me 1 second. Technical. Okay, there you are. All right. I was having issues with chairs and lights and my phone, and it has just been like, let's see. Yes, you're in the right place. Okay, let me grab a couple things that fell on the floor right here. Talking about drops of valor. Holy crap. Like, I need like a bottle of valor right now with what's going on. Okay. So I have several questions that your beautiful friend, Miss Athea, had sent to me. And I'm going to do my best to get through these questions and also answer any questions if you have questions in the short amount of time that we are here. I'm so excited to be with you guys, and I'm very excited and honored to even be asked to be with y'all. So thank you for the opportunity. I never take these kind of things for granted. I'm always really excited to meet new people, and I do conferences all over the world. I've been to 44 countries, and it never gets old. I mean, I always meet the most amazing people, and it's just always such a blessing to meet. Now, we're not technically meeting like one-on-one right now, but in a way we are, because a lot of you guys maybe I've seen before, or I'll meet again in real life. And when I do, that's my cat, sorry. When I do, it's always so weird to see people that I have met on Facebook, and I'm like, it feels like I know you. So thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. Make sure and tag your friends and your people in this group and what have you, because I'm going to be giving some stuff away. That's really fun. I have 3 really cool prizes I'm giving away. And if you get anything out of this, I'd love to hear your feedback, questions, whatever, because again, we're limited of time to 30 minutes. But if there's stuff that you guys need support in, or if you have questions after, then just definitely let me know. Oh, hey, I know Laura. So a couple questions here. First of all, a little bit about myself. She asked me to say a little bit about myself. My background's actually ministry. I went to Bible school and seminary, and I've been teaching at conferences, ministry conferences, for about 20 years. I worked with a guy named John Paul Jackson and Bob Jones and some other people, and did prophetic conferences and teaching, and just love, God and source and good vibes and all of those things. And so that's kind of a little bit of my background. Midway in there, I started getting pretty sick just from, I think, traveling and not really eating the best, and not really participating in the best options for myself physically. Found myself pretty overweight, very sick, on about 30 different medications, and trying to find some answers. Sorry, but my cat is totally like wanting to be in this video. Trying to find some answers from the Western situation, but not really getting a whole lot of answers, getting more drugs and more prescriptions that were giving me more side effects. And I didn't really feel much better. So I was very thankful to meet a man named Dr. Lucky, and he is a medical doctor in Mississippi, and he actually first spoke to me about essential oils, and I honestly thought it was super weird and coming from a religious standpoint, there wasn't a whole lot of talk about that 10, 15 years ago when all this happened. So it was kind of foreign to me, but I had always looked into like neuroscience and quantum physics and the supernatural and biochemistry, and my undergraduate was in wellness and fitness and kinesiology. So the body and all of that kind of stuff was really interesting to me. I just didn't have a whole lot of knowledge about how oils work on a frequency level, on a biochemical level, on a cellular level. And so I had some people kind of jump in and with a lot of research and training kind of put some things together. And it was really the missing link for me. And I got involved with Young Living after looking into 23 different companies and finding out that they were actually the best. At that time, there were only like 23 companies that I could find, and most of them didn't have their own farms. When we tested those companies, most of them had like 99% not the oil in the bottle. So like we tested wintergreen and cedarwood and peppermint, and we would get results back of like 98.9% not wintergreen, 98.9% not cedarwood, 98.9% or 99% not peppermint. And I was like, wow, something's wrong with this picture. Was introduced to Young Living, and I'm a green, red, kind of even type person where I really, really do research, but I also love teaching. And as a teacher, especially one with a biblical background, of course, I'm going to be very cautious on what I'm teaching and make sure that I'm actually going to teach something that is the truth, because that's a big responsibility as a leader and as a human, is that you want to be telling the truth, and you want people to be getting the right information and not just buy stuff just to buy it, or use it just to use it, or use it to get sick. Like, why have counter results by getting some oil that only has like 1 or 2% essential oils in it? What I also found out is that the FDA guidelines at the time, and actually still are, that they only have to we only have to provide 3% of an essential oil in a bottle to label it 100% therapeutic grade A oil. And the reason why is because we're technically not lying, or companies aren't lying by saying that the oil in the bottle isn't more than 3%. The oil in the bottle is 100%, but they just don't have to tell you what else is in the bottle. And most of what we found that was in the bottle when we did our testing was propylene glycol. Propylene glycol is not something that you want to diffuse. It's not something you want to put on your skin. It's just not a good thing. So anyway, after really doing tons of research, as you could tell, I'm a researcher. I'm a geek. I like science. I like data. When we went through all of this, I still thought I was hokey pokey as far as like, it seemed illogical, but now that I was connecting all the science to it, I was like, wow, this is actually real. And I jumped in and I got just the basic kit. When I got the basic kit, I didn't really know what to do. There wasn't a whole lot of teaching out there back then. And, I would literally anoint myself. I would put it on my feet, my hands, and my head. You guys were talking about application. I understand the head, the hands, and the feet are the best places for application, just because your pores are most open in those areas, and which is also counterproductive if you're using bad things, because if you go in the shower and you're using soaps and gels and shampoos and things that have those chemicals in it, then you're actually washing your whole body, putting it in your hair, rubbing your hands, and standing and the rest of it. So that will absorb as well. Anything you put on your skin or on your body is going to affect your cells. And so when we started looking at Young Living, I just got the basic kit. I was putting, like I said, diffusing it, I used it like all over me, everything. Like I was just like, I didn't know what to do. I was sniffing it. I was putting it on. I didn't have a lot of guidance. I didn't really have a quote upline that I knew of or talked to. So but within 16 weeks, I was literally off all 30 of my medications. I did not go cold turkey. And I don't suggest that anybody else do that necessarily. But for me, I got off all my meds as I felt need to, mostly because like one of the meds, for example, was for chronic fatigue. Well, several of them were for chronic fatigue. And I was not feeling as bad, so I started pulling back. Another one was for migraines, and I would have migraines sometimes up to 5 days a week. And I went 2 whole weeks without having a migraine. I was like, oh my God, let's call Guinness Book of World Records right now, because I was 30 something years old and had not gone since 13 years old on, had not gone without at least 3 or 4 migraines out of the month, sometimes a week. So to go 2 weeks without any, it was just like literally world miracle right there. So for me, because and if any of you have ever been sick, you understand it's a freaking full-time job to go to doctor and be in a bunch of meds and have all these side effects, and then mentally like have mental gymnastics of these 2 meds go together and these 2 can't, and these 2 have to have food and this has to have water, and this you have to have on an empty stomach, and this one you got to have 3 hours before you eat. And the charts and graphs that I had for all of that, the extra suitcase that I had to go travel with just for that. It's doctor to doctor for refills and whatever. There was a lot of time and energy in that. That's like a freaking full-time job. And so it wasn't fun for me to be able to not be on meds anymore. There was one medication that I still am on, and until I could do something natural, I'm going to do everything I can natural as forever if I can. And so again, I'm not anti-meds. I'm not anti-medical world. I'm not anti-Western medicine, but I am going to do everything I can to make the choices of everything holistic and everything natural that works with my body and with how God created this body, instead of anything counter, because drugs are going to have side effects. Drugs are going to turn off things. They're not necessarily going to solve anything, and they're not going to get to the root of the issue. When I went to go see Dr. Lucky, he put me on this medical thing, and as many of you know, trauma or symptoms or dis-ease actually come from a couple different ways, which we'll talk about. One is frequency, and the other has to do with trauma-related issues. 86% of all dis-ease has to do with trauma-related things, and we store trauma because of a lot of different things, like five or 10 different ways. I'll give you a few. You can store it because you maybe somebody did something to you in an authoritative position that was really difficult and you can't process it. Maybe there's been ritualistic type abuse where over and over and over things are happening. Maybe it was the top 1 million things you would never do to somebody else, and then they did that to you. It could be something really sudden, like a horrific sudden event. That I don't want to say things because I don't want to speak anything, but you get the idea. And you can have a multitude of all of those things mixed together. And what happens is, this is your frontal lobe. Behind that is your limbic system. That's like the librarian of trauma. And basically, we defrag from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning, meaning from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., if you are even sleeping from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., your body goes, hey, all the things that aren't really important, let's just get rid of that stuff and make room for the next day. And again, if you're not sleeping, that doesn't work. But if you are sleeping, that works. And then there's those things that stick, that have just a little stick power. And they may not process because, let's say, it's too difficult to process, or maybe you're not old enough, or maybe it was too overwhelming, or maybe you got too much going on to be able to process. And so basically that limbic system behind the frontal lobe takes the information that happens to you throughout the day, and it says, she's got this, let's defrag from 3 a.m. to 5, or it says, no, she can't do this right now. It's not possible. So it takes that information and it stores it in a body part. And that body part will hold there dormant for a while. And It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a decade. And then one day when it's time, it will make symptoms in that organ. And when you get those symptoms, then basically it's time for you to be able to process through those things. Now, if you don't, then what happens is it gets louder and louder and louder until you're just like usually upset or in so much pain that you end up going to a doctor. Now, when you go to a normal doctor, I say normal, when you go to a doctor, the way that doctors are taught in most Western places are to turn off the pain. They're not necessarily taught to look at the message and see what's going on with the message and to get to the root of the problem to figure out why this is even happening. They don't go to the root cause. They just go, hey, you know what? Let's give you some drugs for that. And it'd be kind of similar to like if your oil went out in your car and, you know, the light is blinking, 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 and you're like, oh my gosh, we got some problems. And if you went to the oil mechanic and the mechanic was like, I have a solution. We are going to take that light right out. We're going to take that sound right out so it will not annoy you at all. And then you could just be on your merry way. Well, the problem is you're going to get your car going and that car is going to be like, what the crap, is going to blow up because you didn't fix anything. You just took away the sound and the light. That's how a lot of meds are for us, is we go in and they just give you a drug to numb, you know, whatever connection is with that situation, but it doesn't go to the root. It doesn't look at the symptom as a message to, hey, it's time to, like, let's get rid of the root issue, the trauma behind this, or what have you. So in my case, when I had went and got tested, they found over 29, or a little bit over 29 different traumas that were located in my body. I didn't know how many of them were dormant or how many of them were active. That 29 is a lot, you know, for me, for anybody. And when I went and finally jumped in and got that, just the main kit, like the basic kit that you guys probably all got, or some of you, I don't know who all does oils on this, but when I went and got the kit, again, I just put it all over myself. I was sniffing it, diffusing it, putting it next to my bed when I was asleep. I was putting it on my feet. And like I said, over 16 weeks, I not only wasn't on my meds except for one, but I also dropped 80 pounds without changing anything in my diet, which is crazy. Because if you have pain and you are holding on to trauma, guess what else you hold on to? You hold on to weight. You hold on to everything because your body is like, hang on for dear life with everything you got, because it's just trying to be in survival mode. So anyway, when I got tested after 16 weeks, because I'm a data person, I went back and was like, hey, you know, how many do I have now? And they tested only 4.5. in 16 weeks, which I'm like, are you serious? And again, I'm a data person. I like to see stuff on machines that's visual. And for me, that was crazy. But what happens is when you're using an essential oil, first of all, it goes past the blood-brain barrier. It goes straight into the cells, which if you're using a carrier, that's not going to go in your cells. If you're using a fake oil, that's not going to go in your cells. If you're using a real oil, the molecules are so tiny that they actually go right into the cells and they start changing your DNA, which is like, seriously, like epigenetics happens. Yeah, really. That means if you had something from grandma or anything before you, that can all be changed. You don't have to die by the same diseases that your grandmother did. We get to change that. You are the one who can change that for you and for your family. It goes past the brain barrier, which is pretty thick, by the way. So it works on an energetic level, on a frequency level, which we're going to talk about in a second. But it goes into the cells and into the brain, and it does all these great things. But the other thing when it having to do with trauma is it goes past the olfactory system. When you're smelling it, it goes past the olfactory system. It goes past the frontal lobe. It goes into the limbic system. And it basically tells that limbic system, hey, you know what? It's cool. We got this. Go ahead and find those dormant traumas throughout the body and just start letting them go. Just let them go. It's cool. We got this. She's healing. We're healing. We're good. And it helps you to defrag during that 3 to 5 a.m. time. And you just start letting that go. The other thing, if we're going to talk about frequency real quick, sorry, my phone's ringing. Frequency. So a lot of people think that they can catch diseases from everybody that's around them. Or, oh, I don't want to go over there. I don't want to touch this card. I don't want to be around so-and-so who has the flu. That's how we're programmed. We're programmed to put on the little mask, not to breathe around people and what have you. But the real story is we are energetic beings. And on a healthy day, we're about 67 megahertz. And on a healthy day, 6 to 7 megahertz, as an adult, we're doing pretty good. When that drops, we have some issues. We can open ourselves up to different things. And when that happens, then, there's books on this, but healing oils. So the Bible is a good one and some other ones that go into it. But if you can drop, in the lower 60s, you're talking about colds and fever blisters and things that are annoying but not like death threats. When you drop a little bit more, you're getting a little more bigger. 45 frequency, that's pretty big. Put it this way, you die at 25 and it takes several days for that frequency to be completely out of your body. For some reason, you will still have a vibration there for a little bit, even after you're brain dead and not even breathing anymore. So what's cool about the oils is all essential oils and anything that has life has frequency. So we have frequency, animals have frequency, nature has frequency, and basically what oils are is frequency in a bottle. It's nature in a bottle. It's the blood plant resin, the blood of an oil. Of a plant, but it's just put in a bottle. So when we use nature, when you get drowned and go for walks and sit at the beach and get entrainment and rhythm of your brain waves, and you can take off your socks and shoes and go outside. All these things are going to be super great for you. And if you live in the middle of the city, or if you just don't take time to go outside, or like right now it's winter, so how are we going to, maybe some people will go outside and with their socks and shoes in ground. It'd be kind of cold, but we all we got to do is diffuse. We can get like Sacred Mountain or Valor. This is Drops of Valor. We can get like Gathering or any of them, the tree oils, I call them. Really all the oils, but I love the tree oils because they're more for grounding and just for getting that synergy back and getting that frequency back. So like peppermint is 98 megahertz. Lavender's 118. Helichrysum is 157. Rose is 320. Rose is the highest ever tested frequency oil. There have been lots and lots of rumors that Idaho blue spruce and northern lights are 520 megahertz, but that has never been tested. I worked with Gary personally and traveled with him for over 10 years and went to many, many researches, several of the farms. I was overseas with him all over. We went to France farm a couple times. We went to Amman. We went to Canada, Utah, different parts of Canada. We went to Greece, Turkey, England, Australia, New Zealand. Where else have I been with him? Croatia, Ecuador. I've been with Gary to many, many countries personally with him and his family. Stayed at his house in Ecuador. Was at his hospital actually for several weeks in Ecuador. Saved my life. And so I've learned a lot from him personally. And hopefully some of that is translating to you guys right now, because we got to keep his voice going. We got to keep his teaching going. And he knows so much, and he did not get a chance to test Northern Lights or Idaho blue spruce, unfortunately. I know that rumor went out there, but the machines that we require to do that were headed up by a guy named Bruce Tatiana, who passed away, and then we never could get the machines going to figure out how to do that. And because of all the electronics and everything now in this world, we'd have to actually go underground to do that, because we'd have to have a place that was completely anti any electrics. And really, even in the ground, there's so much electronics now, to be able to have like a clean test. So is it high? Probably, but do we know what it is exactly? No, we don't. So that being said, oils can help. And what oils do, now there's different things that cause our frequency to go down. Negative people, you probably know a Debbie Downer in your life. Don't be around Debbie Downer. Don't drink coffee. Coffee can bring you down. Don't go drink coffee with Debbie Downer. You're going to double dip. But you can use essential oils to bring you up. So, let's say you dip because of Debbie Downer or whatever, you go drink some coffee. I still drink coffee every morning, but I use oils all the time. So, there's things that we should be doing and things that we can be doing on a regular, like I said, get in sunshine, go in the woods, walk in the dirt. Gary was big time about nature, and he always talked about God's living room is, the forest or the beach. And anytime we traveled to any of these countries, one of the first thing he always said is take off your socks and shoes and go be with the nature, connect with God here, because every single place had a different vibration. It had a different makeup, and he wanted us to connect with God in those places and to get what God was telling us there in all of those places. Not just, there's something really cool about every place, just like there's something cool about each of us as individuals. And he was, with tears in his eyes, he would always ask us to please take time to be with God in all of those places that we went. And I got videos of, I'm going to start crying, but I just miss him a lot. So that's where frequency comes with the oils. I hope that is helpful. Someone had asked, so Gary and Dr. David Stewart are probably the leading people in my life to help me remember what my purpose is here. And that's how I kind of morphed from ministry to marketplace. I was doing these churches and conferences all over, and I still do. And then because of my physical and emotional transformation, when I would go to these places, they'd say like, "Oh my gosh, who are you?" I mean, I even had people who didn't recognize me, and I would tell them, essential oils. That's what's happened, and because of that, then people wanted me to come and teach on that. Come teach healing oils of the Bible. Come teach this. And then that led me to a lot of prayer lines and a lot of prayer lists and all these different questions that were coming to me that I wasn't 100% knowledgeable on knowing. So I actually went back to school with the inspiration of Dr. David Stewart, who's a quantum physicist, chemist, mathematician. Y'all probably familiar with him. And getting to meet him and then being around Gary, I was like, these guys, they make me want to be like them. I just wanted to help people in a different level and be able to have the answers that people were seeking, so they didn't have to be in the pain that I know I had been in for so long. It's not fun to be sick, and it's a waste of time, and it keeps you from being in your full destiny of what you're supposed to be doing. And if I could save anybody from that pain, even if it's 10 minutes, then I wanted to be like that. And so I ended up going back to school. I got my naturopathic doctorate. It's actually a biblical naturopathic doctorate at the school. I don't even think exists anymore because there's just been so much on that as well. But that led me to being able to do coaching. I had a wellness center for a little bit. It flooded a couple years ago. We had a big flood where we live, and we haven't reopened that practice. But I continue to do conferences and wellness centers working there. I do a lot of coaching and consultations over the phone for people who are dealing with personal stuff, energetic stuff, just trying to get to the root causes of all these things instead of, let's put a Band-Aid on it and unplug the light. And so I love doing videos and teaching. I have a YouTube that's full of that kind of stuff to help people too, which I put the link in here too if you guys are interested in any other resources. I have books, I have trainings, I have lots of different classes and memberships. I have memberships on keto, on like a keto lifestyle. I have memberships on I Am My Divine Partner. I have a leadership. I have membership groups on crystals and essential oils and how they work together. Has like 135 different posts in there for education. I have an outcome mapping membership that teaches people energetically how to shift their miracles. That kind of goes along. It's with one of my books called, this is backwards, called The Science of Miracles. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Technology is so fun. Here we go. Maybe this is not backwards. Is that not backwards? There we go. Science of Miracles. I have made a great tool called Crystals, Oils, and Decrees. It goes into a lot about how crystals and oils work together. There's 80 card deck group of cards that basically have a ton of different oils. I mean, a ton of different crystals, which are actually all my personal crystals. And then on the back, it tells you what essential oil works best with that crystal. And it gives you a decree, which is a frequency as well. And you can use these cards just for flashcards and understanding better what you're doing. You can use it energetically. Some people will just pick one and because they're feelers and God knows what you're required. And it's always 100%, by the way. Or you can visually see it. Now, what's different about oils with crystals is with oils, if it stinks, you need it, which is funny. With crystals, it's what you're drawn to that you need. So that's one thing that's a little bit different. So as you go through, you may visually just want to look through what card appeals to you, and 100% of the time it's going to be correct because your heart knows. Your heart is the best GPS, God positioning system that God gives us. So that's a tool that I have. I have a book on keto, like I said. Oh, here it is. Well, back here. Let me see. This one. And I also have a membership with that. It's 31 days. Where there's a video every single day that kind of goes into a different topic, whether it's keto sticks, the basics, grocery shopping, can you do alcohol, what if you stall, exercise, intermittent fasting. It has a whole section on what essential oils and supplements to use to help support the process. All of these things are going to talk about essential oils and crystals and nature and God, because that's just what everything's going to be about. I do have a class that's coming up. It'll be a 30-day membership that starts December 29th. We'll have a live that night at 5 o'clock, and I think the link is down there. It's very discounted to do 30 days with me and hang out. We'll have a private Facebook group where you can be in there, and I'll be popping in from time to time talking about things and just answering questions and stuff, but that information is in there. Also, I have a Divine Science in the Human Body group that's free, which I think I forgot to put in here, but Anthea, maybe you could put it in here. Oh, she's mentioning outcome mapping. I do have an outcome mapping membership where I teach on the frequency of that, what oils to use, what crystals to use, and why it works on a formula level, on a science level, how we can actually create our own miracles, how you are divinely made to co-create your outcome and not just have things happen to you. This book, The Science of Miracles, and the membership that we are going to do, I got out of a dream, several dreams over time. We talk about a lot of different things having to do with your DNA and how to change it. The kingdom, we talk about frequency, the biofield, having split energy and how to change that. Phantom effects of the DNA. There's recoding your timeline. So if you've had patterns come over and over and over, and it talks about how to recode that. The power of replacing, the science of judgment and forgiveness, collective consciousness and how that works, just how to get out of energetic purgatory. Like if you've had some things that you're just like stuck and you're seeing patterns and you're like, holy cow, like I'll go into the formula of how to do that. I got the formula in a dream. I did it for myself. I got myself out of some really difficult patterns very quickly. And I was like, wow, how in the world, why haven't I known this? Why aren't people teaching this? And so I started using that with my clients when I was doing consultations over the phone. We started outcome mapping and people were getting instant results, like sometimes within less than 24 hours of complete changes, whether it was healing or an emotional situation or a relationship repair. Tons of people divorced back together. Tons of people who didn't even have a partner all of a sudden engaged. We had 2 people who were engaged during the class. New cars, financial blessings, bills paid, and again, I teach on how oils and all of that work with it, how supplements work with that, how to keep your frequency up to even step into those things. And so, I hope that is helpful. We've ran out of time. I feel like I haven't even started, but it looks like I've gone probably past what I should have gone past. What time is it? Like, I've gone past. But that, anyway. So I love all of you. If you share and follow and do all the things in this post, I'm giving some stuff away. I haven't decided if I'm giving away classes or books or cards, but I'm going to give away 3 things. So you guys got 3 chances to get some free stuff, whether it's one of my memberships or actual physical things. But you can go on my YouTube for more free resources. You can go to my divine Science in the Human Body for free resources. If you would like to go to my website, it's swiftfire.org, swift as in quick, fire.org. There's a ton of resources there. My blog is there. I have a ton of articles there. I have MP3s, my books, my classes. So I'd love to connect with you guys in real life sometime, and I would absolutely love to hang out with you in the Science of Miracles workshop that's coming up. If you guys can get in that and jump in. And if this is helpful to you anyway, please, I'd love your feedback. Because I can't hug you personally, if you got anything at all out of this, maybe inbox me and just go like, hi, I'm me. And, it was great meeting you ish, kind of met, but, just so I could see your face. I will go look at your profile and feel like I connected to you better. And I like the personal touch. And so anything we could do to get closer and to interact a little bit more is easier for me just because I'm very visual. So, and again, if you have any more questions or things that may have instigated some more ideas or thought processes through this video, then feel free to just post in here your questions and I'll do my best to answer. I don't always know the answer to that. And again, I do hope to connect with you closer. I'm so sorry that I started a tiny bit late and I definitely went over, but thank you again for having me and bless you so much. And again, I'm Dr. Sharnael. Find me on Instagram, YouTube. You can follow me. I guess my friends page or whatever, they only allow you so many, but you can hit the follow button and that way if someone drops, you're in, and also get notifications for any videos and things that I do. I do several videos a week on different topics like breathing and consciousness and frequency and oils and supplements and nutrition and exercise and intermittent fasting. And if any of that is something that's important to you, then definitely hit the follow button for my Facebook, and that way you'll get those notifications. Or if there's any new classes or new resources that are coming out, whoever is doing that will have the first notification on anything that's coming up. All right. We've been doing a lot of discounts on classes over Black Friday. We'll probably be doing some stuff here coming up in the next month or so. So my hair is a mess. I'm so sorry. Anyway, love you all. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for showing up and look forward to meeting all of you in real life soon. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.